Hi, County Executive Mark Hackel. Just a quick little interview about some of the other things that sometimes we don't really think about when it comes to this crisis with COVID, but yet the impact it has on various organizations like MCREST. April is the director of MCREST and has been for quite some time, I think about 18 years. And it's interesting to see how this has kind of challenged her and her staff to try to figure out how do we help with people from the homeless population and people that need support, as we call the vulnerable population, I guess, if you will. And we do have our mascot here. This is Snickers. Prior to starting the interview, Snickers and I got acquainted, and now you can't separate us. We're bonded now. So Snickers is the mascot of MCREST here. Yes. So with that, April, we appreciate obviously the work that you do for folks here in Macomb County and helping support them, get them back up on their feet. But I got to believe this has been an incredible challenge for you and your staff with this COVID crisis.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I really appreciate the county and you coming out and supporting our efforts here at MCREST. But yeah, it's been a challenge. We've had to flip our operations upside down compared to where we used to operate within the churches. All 60 of our guests are currently staying in the hotel, being a stay-at-home order, which our folks don't have a home to stay in, so we're providing that in the hotel for them currently.
So the challenge you were talking about with the churches, and again, there's a lot of support throughout the county. They open their doors for people to come on in, shelter, and kind of even help with some of the meals that they receive. The challenge with that is what right now? Why is it they're not able to operate?
The churches, the social distancing and keeping people safe from the virus has made it very difficult for our operations here at MCREST to be able to provide the shelter needed for our folks.
And is it, again, the churches, is it because they're concerned about that spread of the virus, and so they've had to kind of figure out how they close their doors, even with some executive orders, and leaving that decision as to how do we deal or how do we care for these people in a different way or different fashion?
Yeah, so at the beginning, the stay-at-home order first impacted the reason why our guests are housed in the hotel. But now moving forward with the unknowns, and some of our churches have an elderly population, and they're afraid and they want to keep their volunteers safe from the virus, and they're thinking that the portrayal is in the community that the homeless population is more vulnerable to the virus. But I think in general, any of us is more vulnerable. It's just about how the protocols are taken, about the social distancing, wearing masks, and gloves if needed.
Okay, and so with that, I mean, the funding becomes a major issue. I mean, now you say you were able to take over a hotel. Somebody was fortunate enough to say, hey, you can use our facilities here, and you're rented out pretty much the whole hotel with guests that you're able to fill it with. Is that correct? So
we have a partnership with the Microtel down the street here from us, and in order for them to stay in operations, but also we've used them for our overflow clients when we've had families come in. I had to write a letter to state that the hotel was helping out the homeless population in Macomb County in order for our folks to stay there. And with the partnership, we've got about 25 rooms there. It is an extended cost that we did not budget at the beginning of the year for this cost. To house our clients till the end of June is $125,000. We have done an excellent job with our fundraising efforts, but we don't know what the future is going to hold for MCREST if we're able to house back into the churches, or even if clients get sick, we're still going to have to isolate them and put them in the hotel.
And to get that funding, you had to do some kind of like fundraising and grant writing to obtain that money to keep them housed until the end of June?
Yes. Half of the funding we raised was through grant writing, and then the other half is from generous donors throughout Macomb County, service groups, and people, some of our churches, and people just found our message through Facebook and our website and made that donation.
Okay. Yeah, and as I mentioned earlier, we were talking about emergency management, Vicki Wolbert, and kind of find out that we think there might be some funding we had even from the federal government that we're going to be able to support, not only maybe through current time with this crisis, but maybe even an extended period. So, we were just kind of talking about that before we came in here, and I think that's going to be a great opportunity to kind of sustain us a little bit longer than what was maybe anticipated.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of fundraising, and I got to believe the grant writing is...
It's a challenge, it is. I'm grateful that the COVID virus opened up a lot of doors, but I have to tell you, people losing their lives and people getting sick is not worth it. And you know, social distancing, especially somebody like me who likes to be around people and talk, I don't got that. I'm like, oh my goodness, I gotta get out.
Yeah, it's got to be quite the challenge. With that being said, I mean, the number of people that you have in a facility, that's sometimes a question, you know, people will ask is, okay, have you had any cases yet? Have you had any problems with this as a result of the COVID? And I guess, have you? I mean, how's that been so far?
So we jumped on this the day one that the first case hit in Michigan, and we decided what we were going to do. We reached out to our churches, and not one of our clients have tested positive or had any symptoms of the coronavirus. We have taken in a family that needed our services, a mom and a child who was let go or evicted from a family member's house, tested positive for the virus. We isolated her in her own room for 14 days, mainstreamed her in our program, and we're working on housing with her right now.
Oh, okay. And again, that's interesting because that date, first wave of it, I guess, if you will, our first case was here in Washington State, and that actually took place on January 21st in Michigan. There were 2 cases simultaneously, one in Oakland County, one in Wayne County, and those were on March 11th. And in Macomb County, it was March 13th was the first date that we had it, and we too, our emergency management team activated early on, as well as our health department officials. So again, we're fortunate that people like yourself and organizations like yourself got ahead of this as well to help out with, like you say, the homeless population, and trying to provide them shelter and support to help keep them from getting the virus and or spreading the virus. So I think here in Macomb County we've done a pretty good job of staying ahead of this, and you know, with people like April leading the charge, we're very fortunate here in Macomb County. And you know, I want to thank you for your efforts, as well as Snicker for keeping me warm in company while we did our interview. I think it's the first time I've ever done it with a pet.
Puppy.
It's kind of a dangerous situation because they want to jump out of your arms, maybe claw at you, paw at you. But me and Snickers, we're just kind of chilling out here, and I think we're kind of enjoying it. So, but again, I really appreciate you and your staff and the work that you do, and to remind people, you know, there's always an opportunity to donate. MCREST, you know, they got a website online. Make sure, you know, if there's looking for an opportunity to donate for a good cause, MCREST would be that cause.